Good morning, guys. I have the keys to this F80 M3 competition pack. So for the next week, I'll be making a video on what it's like to live with the BMW M3. First things first, I'm about to head into work today, and then I am taking this car up to Traverse City for the weekend. So it'll be a nice, like, 4-hour road trip up. We'll take it up there. There might be some fun roads, but it would be real-world evaluation of what is it like to live with, drive, and pretty much just exist with an M3 as the only car I'm going to have for a little bit. Let's do a cold start. It's been sitting here overnight. See what it sounds like. It is now day 2 of living with the BMW M3. So yesterday, I didn't really film much because later in the afternoon, my girlfriend and I, we drove all the way up from Ann Arbor to Traverse City. And that road trip wasn't bad. The car is pretty stiff. It's a competition pack. So even in comfort mode, the suspension is probably equivalent to the Sport or Sport Plus of a regular non-competition M3. And then, I mean, on a road trip, it was good. It was comfortable. It was really fast. This thing, Helen, do you like the car? It's fast. Pulled up to well over more than the speed limit, quite strongly. It got caught in the rain. John, the owner of the car, says some sort of hydroplane when it's raining hard. It was raining pretty hard, and I was doing all right. I kept the speeds reasonable while in the rain. Decent fuel economy when just kind of cruising up here. Today we're going to head to the sand dunes, so we're gonna keep driving it, seeing what it's like. And the more time I spend with this car, the more I'm finding out I'm liking it again. Found a random ZL1 convertible. Pretty cool. We've arrived at the Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes Dune Overlook. It's like a 400-foot drop from there down to Lake Michigan. M3 is still doing really well. It's getting a little bit dirty, killing bugs, but it would get also very stuck if we tried to go over there because rear-wheel drive, and this thing is absurdly tail-happy, quite low. It barely has traction on dry concrete, so wow. On off-roading, this would be horrendous, but car's been doing great. We're gonna go climb around, have fun, and not worry too much about filming things. So I'll see you guys later. Currently on the scenic drive here, taking the M3, trying to behave, so I'm in full efficient mode, so it's not really loud and obnoxious, but I'm gonna go all the way to Lake Michigan. Yes. Trying to behave. The speed limit is 20 here, but this road literally looks like it could be a racetrack. If there were no speed limits in cars, this would be awesome. I must behave my right foot. The more time I'm spending with the M3, the more I'm actually starting to kind of fall in love with it. So the story is, originally, I first drove an M4 F82 and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I really liked the E90 generation with the V8, almost bought one. Drove one of these, I was like, better tech, it's faster, it's absurd, it was awesome. Then I drove more and more regular M3, and I started almost not loving it. I was like, the Alfa Romeo I think is a little more fun to drive. The C63 has a nicer interior. So honestly, I started feeling like I don't like the M3 as much anymore. But now, this road trip with it, spending so far 2 days with it, and we'll be spending the next couple of days with it, really starting to like it some more. Stop at a nice little scenic point, we'll take a couple pictures of it, and then keep going on. This is not Lake Michigan, this is some other small lake. I've done this before. It is a very long climb. So at the top now, it is just like straight down many hundred feet, like 400 feet to the lake. This is Lake Michigan. Yes. So when I was a kid, we've done this before. All the way down. Takes 45 minutes to an hour if you're going at a decent pace. It's very steep. I am back home now. Yesterday I drove the R8 into work, but I also took the M3 out later at night, took it to get some food and such. Really starting to fall in love with this car. So over the next couple days, I'm going to film a couple more clips with the vehicle, kind of showing you what it's like to live with the car as I continue to spend time with it. I've already put a lot of miles, over 500 miles on the car over the last half week. Really starting to know the car really well, and like I said, starting to fall in love with it. This is the, again, F80 M3 competition pack. So it's got these star pattern 666 wheels is the code that BMW uses. This car does have the carbon ceramic brakes, which is something I'm going to talk about in depth in a bit. The paint color is mineral white. It's rainy and wet. It's not sunny out now, but in the sun, it's got a very nice depth to it. Car is fully loaded with carbon fiber, all the accessory parts. You got the front here, the blacked out grills. Let's see, the mirrors. It has the carbon roof, kind of like the double bubble look. A little lip here. No diffuser though, but really dirty because many miles in the rain and such. All right, so let's hop in the car. Oh, one thing before I get in the car. The M3, I like it a lot because look how wide those rear fenders come out. The M4 Coupe, kind of just, the whole thing is wider, so it doesn't look as aggressively flared. The 3 Series, it looks like the doors are still the same, but they changed these fenders here, so it like widens out a ton and looks really aggressive. I love that part of it. Something I really dislike. You have comfort access here, right? So like I can lock, keys in my pocket, put my hand in, unlock. Well, didn't do it this time. There we go, unlock. The rear doors don't have it, so like there's been times where I've like the front's unlocked and I go to grab it, open here, but there's no comfort access back here. So I don't understand why they did that. Cause here's Nick's S4, but you see the little button there? It's got comfort access on the front and back. Same for my S4. Seems like a weird omission that the M3 doesn't have. I'm assuming it's a 3 Series thing because that's what it's based off of. Car, nice interior, competition pack seats. At night I'll show you these little M emblems light up. Also, it's got these cutouts in the comp seats, so for weight savings, and also so whoever's sitting behind you can stab you in the kidneys. Oof. One thing I discovered almost immediately is I like these seats a lot better now that I've lost about, I don't know, 15-20 pounds of weight. When I first drove it, I'm like, oh, these are really not that comfortable. Now I'm like, these are really comfortable. Even on a long road trip, I'm like, they're snug, they hold you in, but they're not too harsh. I will say after about 2 to 3 hours sitting in the seat, your butt does start to hurt a little bit because it's not very padded. Just get up and walk around a little bit and it's fine, but like the bolstering is very nice. I fit very comfortably in the car right now. It's all typical BMW stuff, which I've kind of missed. I got used to the BMW ecosystem, haven't been in them a ton. Start-stop button with the automatic start-stop, which usually just gets turned off. Nice thick steering wheel with the M-colored cross-stitching. It's got a nice fixed paddle, not fixed paddle, they're on the wheel, the paddle shifters, but they're a decent size. Wish they're column mounted, but most of them seem to be steering wheel mounted. Got a little heads-up display too that shows me the speed right now. All right, let's get going. I'm gonna head into work. All right, so first I want to talk about what is it like to take an M3 on a road trip. So over the weekend, we took it from Ann Arbor, Michigan up to Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City is on the northern end along the coast of Lake Michigan. And it's about a 250-mile drive, so just under 4 hours with some traffic and stuff when we're leaving downtown Ann Arbor. But the M3 actually was pretty good. So when I initially was going into it, I was like, it's the competition pack, and I know it rides pretty harsh. So I wonder how comfortable it'll be. I knew it was going to be a lot more practical and spacious than the R8 for sure. And it was going to be faster and maybe more fun to drive than my S4. Taking the M3 up, I am very happy we did that. It was actually quite a good road trip vehicle. So when I put the suspension into comfort mode, it still was pretty harsh, but it's bearable. It's doable. Especially as you got further up north and the roads are smoother than they are downstate here. It was pretty comfortable. With powertrain and efficient mode, steering and comfort mode, and you just kind of set cruise control and just kind of go, it's good. This car is very fast. It's quick. It's supposedly rated at 444 horsepower from the factory. I seriously doubt it only makes 444 horsepower. It feels like a lot more. I've heard stories of people who dyno these cars and they make like 440 at the wheel or something stock. So I believe these cars are very underrated. John and I discussed, and we think this car is closer to 500 horsepower at the crank. It feels something more like that, especially when you compare it to like the Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, which we did. And they feel like just as fast. I mean, this thing is also tail happy, absurdly tail happy. Back to more specifically to road tripping the car, it got decent fuel economy. I didn't do a specific trip computer, I probably should have, but into the 20s, which is all right. And I wasn't driving like slow by any means. With the 7th gear, this is the dual clutch transmission vehicle. Just leave it in 7th gear, just kind of cruise along there. Road noise and wind noise is decent. It's not like very nice, but it's not unbearable. It's not like it would be like in the R8 or something. My radar detector won't shut up. Let's see. Again, it's very spacious. The front seats are comfortable. Visibility is great. The ride is a little bit stiff, but it's alright if you leave it in comfort mode. If you put it in Sport Plus, it's like this the whole time. Sport Plus is way too harsh. I'm pretty sure comfort in this car for suspension is equivalent to maybe Sport or Sport Plus in a regular M3. So everything is like stiffened up a certain percentage. It's a little bit harder. Car is fast, very stable at high speeds. I did do a couple pulls and stuff like that. It goes very, very hard. Massive trunk, we overpacked. They're just like, we've got the M3, just throw everything in there. It was cold up in Traverse City, so like we each had a couple coats, 2 duffel bags, and a small suitcase, and then backpacks of like other stuff from like laptops and things like that. Car took all of it. Running around buying stuff when we were in Traverse City, very, very practical. Also, the rear seats aren't bad at all. Hello, there's a cop sitting in the median. The rear seats aren't bad. I could sit back there and be okay. Would I be happy over a 4-hour road trip? No. And it's not because of lack of headroom or legroom. Actually, headroom and legroom, I'm okay back there. It's the seats they're just bench seats. They're rear seats on a small sedan. But space-wise, you can fit a 6-foot-tall adult back there for short drives, and it's actually okay because all vehicles have kind of been increasing in size. This 3 Series is the size of like an E39 5 Series. A 5 Series now is the size of an old 7 Series. A 7 Series now is the size of a small boat. They're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But M3, so from a road trip standpoint, it looked amazing. I got some awesome pictures up north with the trees and on some of the roads and by the sand dunes. It was fun to have a really cool looking car to take pictures of. Got a few thumbs up. Some people noticed it. It was a lot of fun to drive. I mean, it was quick, but from just normal driving, it got decent fuel economy, was comfortable, has all the features you want. I mean, it was getting chilly, so we had the heated seats going, the great sound system. It's Harman Kardon. My phone Bluetoothed in. Nice. I love the heads-up display. It was cloudy out, so I didn't put sunglasses on. One thing, almost every heads-up display that I've seen, if you have polarized sunglasses, I put them on, the heads-up display almost completely wipes out, just with the polarization filter and how the display works, the light. You lose almost all of it. But it was cloudy out, so I didn't wear sunglasses, so I was able to use my heads-up display, which is always something nice to have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else road trip-wise. Curvy roads up there was a lot of fun. But yeah, as a practical vehicle take on a road trip, I think it was great. We hit some heavy rain, and it actually dealt with it fine. John says sometimes if you go a little too aggressive, it will hydroplane, really a lot of power to the rear wheels, and I think he just drives with the brick for a right foot. Because I was driving kind of normally and still doing speed limit and pretty decent downpour following the flow of traffic, and the car did fine, without a problem. Very strong brakes, but I want to get to this specifically now since I did experience it during the road trip. Temperature-wise, we're in a nice temperature zone where the brakes were behaving, but in the past experiences, both myself and John have had issues with these carbon ceramics. Carbon ceramics will squeal, they will make noise, they don't have the best cold behavior. That's just the way they are. And you know that going into a sports car or a sports sedan or something that has carbon ceramic brakes. These sometimes almost felt broken. They would like grind and like the vibrations were almost too extreme. Like John's GT3 RS has carbon ceramics. I've driven an M6 with carbon ceramics. I've driven a bunch of cars with carbon ceramics. They don't feel like the ones in this one. So we actually thought it was broken. Took it into the dealership. They said, "Oh, it's fine." So the refinement's not there. On this trip, they were fine. They stopped very strongly, but they do squeal and they kind of just vibrate sometimes to the whole car when they're the right temperature and the right braking application. So it is something, if you're going into the car and you want like full refinement, maybe the carbon ceramics aren't the thing to get. If you want a fully loaded car that has no brake dust, carbon ceramics are the way to go. Just got home from work, still in the M3, so let's talk about a couple more of the things I'm discovering as I live with the car. We can talk about the shifter first. It confuses a lot of people initially. This is a dual clutch equipped vehicle. It's not a manual, obviously. Let me turn it on first. So the way this works is, you see the little pad in there, you got reverse is to the left and up, neutral's there, drive is over there. So reverse, you go like this and up, now you're in reverse. Little letter over there changes. And then just putting it there back in the middle, you're in neutral, and because it's a dual clutch, it will just roll if you're on a hill, forward or back. And then all the way to the right here is drive. So now I'm in drive, you hear it engage, hit it over again, it's like the sport mode, but this means paddle shifter control. Sensors can shut off. Okay, there we go. Move this cable. So the other really important thing I want to talk about with the M3, which we've talked about a lot in the Alfa Romeo video, is the Alfa Romeo versus M3 is what I'm referring to. That's not up yet, or it might be up. I don't know. Chronological. Different drive modes. This one is for drivetrain. This is for suspension. That is for steering. You can vary each independently, which is really, really nice. So if I zoom in there, you see I'm in drivetrain efficient, sport suspension, and sport steering. That's like the default. I don't know if that's been set and you can change that. But usually what I do is I put powertrain into Sport Plus. That makes it sound better. The valves open up. You have suspension. I put in comfort because this thing, as I mentioned, rides really hard. So comfort is a lot more comfortable. Comfort is comfortable. Haha, funny. Steering and sport is what I'm okay with. Comfort's a little lighter. Sport Plus is like almost artificially way too heavy. So I leave that usually in sport. You also have the M1 and M2 buttons that you can set up here. M1 has been set up to sport, comfort, and sport. M2 will ask you to confirm because it's turning traction control off, so it's fully off. Something cool when you turn traction control off is the heads-up display changes. You get not only just the speed, but also this really cool tachometer that shows up. Let's see, am I in neutral? Parking brake is on. Oh, this doesn't work. Let me go. There we go. You can see. So that's what the M3 sounds like on the inside. It's faked a little bit. Actually, let's talk about that some more since I've got the car on. The sound of the M3 is alright. When it first turns on, it sounds like it's gargling rocks. It's like a lawnmower or something. Once it warms up, it does sound good. So like right now, I'm gonna put the window down. That's just it idling. Hopefully you can hear it on this camera, but it crackles, burbles, and pops a lot. Only when it's warmed up and in Sport Plus drivetrain mode. It actually sounds pretty good. Under load, you do get a lot of the assistance from the speakers and everything like that, so it's not purely real per se, but I still think it sounds all right. The Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio definitely sounds better. The Mercedes AMG sounds better. I feel like I already said this in the video once before, but it's not the best sounding thing in the world, but it's all right. I'm okay with it. It definitely sounds mean and aggressive, but it's not the most melodious or like audio appealing. It just doesn't sound like amazing or anything like that. Other random things I'm also discovering. So for some weird reason, the gas gauge is not split into quarters. It's sixths. You've got full, and then you got down to sixth, another sixth and a half, 1/6, 2/6, which is a third. I find that really strange. Usually just quarter or 3/4 and a half. So I don't know why they did that. It's partially digital. This little display here can change based off of what you want. Well, I've been doing, look at that. That's all that highway road tripping fuel economy. So you can see how many miles and everything. That's configurable little screen. But then this is still analog dial. So if I actually turn the car all the way off, let me check, am I in the driveway? Actually, you can mention that too. Look, focus. It has surround view, which is something I like on BMWs a lot. You get the overview camera to see everything, get the sensors that go all around. I can change it if I want just the rear view camera though. There's just a rear view. So that really didn't sound that good. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I had it in Sport Plus drivetrain mode. I thought the exhaust was warm, the car was warm. It was sounding good earlier. It would crack and pop when I would rev it, but I don't know. I didn't do something right. Either way, I mean, it's not easy to make this car sound good. It's just not the best out there. It's all right. When it warms up, it truly does actually sound kind of beastly. I was impressed. John was able to rev it. Maybe I'll stick that clip in here because he knows how to do it better than I do. I have not figured it out yet. But one more quick little walk around. Gonna show I've got my backpack in there. These seats, like I said, are pretty comfortable. The car does look pretty awesome. It needs tints. Doesn't have any tints. Ah, this is stupid. I don't know if I talked about, there's no comfort access in the back. There we go. It's actually pretty practical and spacious in the back there. The trunk is pretty huge. Took a big road trip, as I mentioned earlier. Trunk is very spacious. You can kind of see the red leather peeking through over there. The car's not too low. I haven't been scraping on anything. I take things at an angle and slowly, so that's all right. I really like it when you black out the front pieces there too. It is aggressive. Blacked out grille makes it look good, and just a subtle bulge on the hood indicate you've got the M3. So that's what it's like to live with an M3. I've had it for almost a week now. I'm going to be spending more time with it. Really am falling in love with it overall. I don't know if it's because I missed having a BMW or the BMW brand. The M3 I've always liked a lot. It's a good car. I like it a lot, and I can say I am falling in love with the car. Kind of want one. But that's what it's like to live with the M3. Want to make more of these videos. They're a lot of fun to do. It's kind of cool showing you guys the details of the car that I can't quite capture and find out and learn everything about in just a short couple-hour drive, a short little review. I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Comment below if you want to know more about this car, you want to see more videos, or just have questions in general. Thanks for watching, guys.